everybody. How we doing? Obviously, I'm behind, but I'm not that far behind, so I decided that I would just go ahead and get this started, even though I'm still doing background stuff while I'm talking to you. That's okay. Happy Monday, Happy New Year. I haven't seen you over the weekend, as you may have noticed, Lady Boomer and I had quite the fun New Year's. It's been a while since we've just gone out and we go out and have fun. We do that. We go out and have fun all the time, but it's just, we haven't gone out on New Year's Eve in a long time. Usually we go and have a nice dinner at one of our favorite restaurants in town. And then from there, we just generally go home and chill. And for whatever reason, we decide to go hang out at, go hang out at our favorite little watering hole. And we had a great time. There weren't a ton of people there either, which was fine with us because, I'm not big on amateur nights. And but it was just a few people we knew there, and we hung out and had a lot of good time. And, it was what it was. And it was fun. And, hey, I see Jimmy from Philly. So, it was just, it was chill, but it was fun. And we just, actually rang in the new. I didn't fall asleep before midnight, which is not uncommon over the last few years. And so there you go. Happy New Year. And but you got to wonder. These last 2 years have been pretty much crap for some people. Now, not necessarily for us. We had, there were so many positive things about these last couple of years, and yet, well, kind of like in the song My Eyes Adored You, Frankie Valli, you know that guy? And there's that line, so close and yet so far. That's kind of describes 2020 and 2021. So close to being great years and yet so far. But so we're hoping that 2022 will get better. Although, I laugh because the stream today, by the way, we're still celebrating New Year with the fireworks up here. We start the year out with the tech companies doing their shit again. And that's what I mean by starting again. They're starting their crap again. And that is known right now as foreshadowing, as I am going to play the intro. So there, Johnny played the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. All right, good. Damn morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. And welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel, the glorious space that we have here, the fireworks going off because it's still a new year. And I just didn't change the graphics. So we're going to have fireworks today. It's Monday, the 3rd of January, 2022. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. And let's just say hi to everybody real quick, and then we'll get into the show. Because, that's kind of what I like to do. I like to see who's in the chat and just say hello. And there's a few people here. It's kind of just a little bit light. Share the stream. Repeat my tweets, or retweet my tweet of the show, the tweet of the show, and or on other social media. Whatever you do, tell people we're alive and well on the Morning Night Live. First in the chat today, Somnambul Nation gets the bell. Thank you for being here. Also, good morning, Selecta Boy. Yeah, boy. Also, good morning, James Colley, Gunfox61, the ever-present and faithful administrator of our Discord server. Join the Discord server if you haven't done that already. Always a lot of good news and information and memes and all kinds of fun stuff on there. Good morning, Jesse Leon. Nope, you're not first. You're correct, but that's okay. You're here. You're queer. Get used to it. Okay, that didn't come out right. Anyway, Good morning also Mike Savage Blarg. Also, Maddie's in the house. I'm sure Ronan's somewhere nearby. My favorite Canadian Jaeger Pony's in the house. Nice to see you. Aaron Meredith's back. Nice to have you. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. Chicago Mike. Tyre Alexander. Oh, snowstorm in Baltimore. Good Lord. You hate the cold, boy. Man, I'll tell you what. Then you'd really hate it where I live. Because I think it's like 4 degrees out right now in the lovely Twin Cities. But that's okay. Did you happen to watch the Vikings-Packer game last night? I watched about the first half and knew that it was going to be pathetic because our quarterback's injured or out of COVID or some stupid shit. And not that good anyway, but without him, they're even worse. And it was turning out exactly as I thought it would be. But I always love watching the outdoor Packer games this time of year, just because they have the open stadium and it's cold. It's like 7 degrees and, people are bundled up except for those 4 guys. And it doesn't matter what stadium you go in, what time of year. There's always those 4 guys in the Packer stadium who decide that they're going to go out there and not wear shirts during the game, regardless of the fact that it's 7 degrees. It's really below freezing, but it's fun and whatever. So anyway, Renee Mayette's in the house. Good morning. Also, Jimmy from Philly wiped. Good morning, my brother. And is that everybody? I think that's everybody so far. I'm sure more people are slowly coming in. I checked out the Discord, dear Gunfox, and in fact, some of the stories I got today, I pulled off from the Discord server. So thank you for being diligent about always putting news in there. And also, I just realized that for some reason, suddenly I'm getting a bunch of followers on Parler, and I haven't quite figured that out. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, I went from I literally had 30 followers maybe 30 days ago, and I'm up to 114. So somebody over on Parler is either pushing my name out or something, but I'm getting new followers every day. So that's fine. I'll dig that. And then on Getter, I'm also over there and the reason I mentioned Getter this morning is because, as you may already know, a certain congresswoman got banned from Twitter. At least her personal account got banned from Twitter. Her congressional account is still up. But her personal account got yeeted permanently. They call it a permanent suspension. I don't understand that. They call it a permanent suspension. Do they just not like saying banned? What the fuck's a permanent suspension? Oh, I swore too soon in this show. Well, we'll see what happens there. It's like, how do you have it permanent suspension? Suspension means you can come back usually. What the hell is a permanent suspension? Anyway, good morning, nobody, not me. It makes no sense. But anyway, she's look, I'm not a fan of Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, she's okay. I don't necessarily disagree with her politically. She's just a little bombastic and a little hyperbolic and all that, but that's okay. So a lot of people are a little bombastic and hyperbolic. The former president with the funny hair was a little bombastic and hyperbolic. But for what she got banned for? Did you hear what she got banned for? We'll tell you in a minute. Got my cup of reparations right here, and I am happy. She's an airhead. Yeah, she's different. That's what I'm saying, Maddie. Airhead, maybe? I don't know. But still, whether or not she's an airhead or whatever, what she posted, permanent suspension, sounds like a more palatable than we yeeted her from the site forever. Yeah, it's that bullshit thing they do with words all the time. Where they won't say, they want to change what things mean. They want to call people Latinx and, they just change, they're messing with words. So this permanent suspension, we just say you banned her. Anyway, so she is kind of at the top of my list today. Now, Jason Miller, and now so she's over on Getter, and she's and someone else is over on Joe Rogan went over to Getter too. So it's interesting that he opened a Getter account. So it makes me wonder if Getter's about to make some moves. And I heard that the Don, the guy with the funny hair, was making in negotiations with Jason Miller, the guy who started Getter, about possibly acquiring Getter for his Truth Social. But I don't know. But that seems to be falling through. So now there's speculation that he might go after Parler instead. Now both of those platforms, I'm a little concerned because I realize I'm on both. I have accounts on both those platforms, right? But I don't know how secure they are. I really don't. And I think, I wouldn't mind if the Truth Social guys or Trump guys, whatever, would take them over and maybe put some money into making them more secure sites, because they're kind of, as far as I understand, they're shaky platforms. But anyway, don't know enough. But anyway, Jimmy from Philly, first sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Who says, he says, I got yeeted too, but I'm back up. LOL. Trying Odyssey. Oh, you got yeeted from YouTube again? So the thing is, I am just and good idea to try Odyssey, Jimmy, because, or at least have yourself set up on several other sites, because you just never know when the powers that be at these the social media. What is that on my shirt? Holy shit! I didn't even notice that. The powers that be at some of these social media sites are just get a little big for their britches, and it's like they don't like things that are too much off the beaten path that the establishment people put on the beaten path, especially if you're conservative. I don't say that out loud. And then you go off the beaten path, then they tend to be really super quick to pull the trigger and scrutinize you. Oh, you got a third strike. Oh no. You got a third strike? Oh shit, Jimmy. I hate that. But you're still on. It says you're back up. I'm not sure how. Well, if you had a third strike, did they must have given you some leeway or something. But anyway, but yeah, they don't like you. They don't like you getting too far from a narrative, even the establishment right narrative versus saying things that or especially if it's especially right now, if you say anything that questions what's happening with the stupid 19 or anything like that, then that's a big one. Good morning, Eoi Don says, let's go, Brandon. Good morning, welcome to the show. So anyway, here's the deal. Here's the deal with Ms. Green. So here's Jason Miller on Getter. So I have a Getter account. Here's on Getter. Strong words. Marjorie Taylor Greene is backed by ex-Trump aide Jason Miller as he blasts big tech after she's banned from Twitter. And her first, I think, her post on Getter was, Twitter is an enemy to America and can't handle truth. That's fine. I'll show America I don't need them, and it's time to defeat our enemies. They can't successfully complete a communist revolution when people tell the truth. Social media platforms can't stop the truth from being spread far and wide. Big tech can't stop the truth. Communist Democrats can't stop the truth. I stand with the truth and the people. We will overcome. Well, that's a way to put it, and I can't say that I can argue with it. So here's the article in the Sun. Now it's funny because the Sun is the one that said, "Oh, backed by ex-Trump aide Jason Miller." Jason Miller, former aide to Donald Trump, has blasted the big tech after Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal Twitter account was permanently suspended. There's those words that were really weird. That's a random username. I'm sorry. Well, you can always change that username, but don't be sorry. Don't be sorry for your username. I'll just call it Eoi Dunn. Eoi Dunn? Eoi Dunn? That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Eoi Dunn. Anyway, In an exclusive statement to The Sun, Miller says the deplatforming of then President Trump after the storm at the U.S. Capitol last year was just the beginning for big tech and their war on free speech. Okay, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene's statement. Now Miller says the social media platform is coming for anyone who doesn't conform to their particular worldview. Green was suspended. Now, this is fascinating. It says here from The Sun, Green was suspended after spreading misinformation related to the ongoing stupid 19 pandemic. Now, what's fascinating about this? Do you want to know? Do you know what the misinformation she was spreading? She, what's that system? The VAERS system, the VAERS adverse reporting system for Oops, I can't. Well, okay, so for vaccine, adverse effects, which has been used for years. In fact, it's the system used by the CDC. Well, she actually posted something directly from that system, information from that system, the VAERS system used by the CDC. Now, yesterday it was funny because VAERS system was trending and most people had not heard of it. But I've been talking about the VAERS system for several months now because we were talking about, perhaps some of the I want to say the things that happen next to something else so if something's not in front of you, but it's to the left or right of you, it's on there, right? You know what I'm trying to say? And then side effects. Anyway, so that was supposedly the misinformation she posted, but it's directly from the VAERS system. She just posted the data, right? They didn't like that. They said it was misinformation and they yeeted her. And so I was like, wait a minute, what did she do wrong? Anyway, let's see if they actually, what the links here they have. They link right back to this. Why was Marjorie Taylor Greene's Twitter account permanently suspended? The politician has constantly been temporarily banned from the platform after posting controversial tweets on her page. She was kicked off of Twitter after repeatedly violating the platform's policy. What policy? Probably not a very well spelled out policy. Her account has been permanently suspended for repeated violations of our stupid 19 misinformation policy, Twitter spokesman said. It was not immediately clear which tweet prompted a permanent suspension. She still, however, has access to her congressional account. This is not the first time Green has been flagged by Twitter. On Monday, August 9th, 2021, Green tweeted that the Food and Drug Administration should not approve the stupid 19 vaccines. Okay, why? That's just an opinion. You can't have an opinion on Twitter? I thought that's what Twitter's for. She also claimed the vaccines were failing and that they were ineffective at reducing the virus's spread. No comment. In response, Twitter labeled the tweet as misleading and temporarily blocked her account. In the past, Green was suspended from Twitter for tweeting that at Trump supporters to mobilize due to recent attacks on their liberties. At the time, Green tweeted, "I encourage all Americans, not just the 75 million people who voted for President Trump, to mobilize and make your voices heard in opposition to these attacks on our liberties." Why? What are you talking about? Okay, because they consider her tweets a call to violence, which I don't think that would be it. The tweet was deleted in 2 hours after it was sent, but it was archived by news outlet ProPublica. Green released a statement about her suspension, blaming the big tech for silencing elected officials. Prior to that tweet, she had posted a photo that read, "End abortion in America," and jabbed at Republicans for their loss in the Georgia elections. Green tweeted, morons like you are responsible for losing Georgia's 2 Republican Senate seats. I don't know if that's wrong or not. You ran on November 3rd election that was stolen because you idiots at the SOS mailed out millions of absentee ballots to anyone and everyone while Georgia was an open state. Then you counted the ballots on Dominion. The tweet was flagged for election fraud that could not be liked, retweeted, or replied to due to risk of violence, according to Twitter. Holy shit. Now, what does Twitter say about her suspension? Amid the temporary suspension, a company spokesman told CNN, this is CNN. The tweet, which was labeled in line with our COVID-19 misleading information policy, the account will be in read-only mode for a week due to repeated violations of the Twitter rules. According to Twitter's COVID-19 misinformation policy, users can receive a 1-week suspension if they violate that policy 4 times. Violating the Stupid 19 policy 5 or more times can result in a permanent ban. Yet, Twitter did not state how many times Green has violated the company's rules. As of January 2nd, 2022, her account has been permanently suspended as a result of repeated violations of misinformation. Hello, Spud Gun. Hello, DI Freighter Watcher. And let's see, blah, 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 blah. And then she wrote her thing. You know, okay, DI Freighter Watcher, I'm so sick of hearing people cry wow over Twitter. I'm not crying over it at all. I just think it's funny that they think they can ban people for stupid shit as if they're not going to be heard anymore. It's funny. I still hear from Trump all the time. I still hear from some of these other people all the time. But then again, I'm on all these other accounts too. Any rep who posts what isn't approved gets banned. Any dem who posts what isn't approved remains. True. That seems how it is. You know, I understand your point though. If we're just sitting there complaining about people getting banned off Twitter, yeah, they can do whatever the fuck they want. We know that. So you find other ways to get heard. And apparently she's going to do that by getting on Getter. And apparently a lot of people signed up for Getter yesterday, over the last couple days, for 2 reasons. One, because, partially because of Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I don't think her following is as big. But another big name opened a Getter account over the weekend, and that was Joe Rogan. Because Joe Rogan's interview, and I can't remember this dude's name, and I don't know if I should bring it up. The doctor he had on a show. Wonder if I can find that. Let me see here. I was just watching it. I should be able to find it here in my history. Hang on a second. Here we go.
I'm not getting any.
So Joe Rogan did an interview, and any reference to it on Twitter was deleted, and apparently it was deleted off YouTube. But people have been putting it back up on YouTube all over the place now. Dr. Malone, if I remember, I don't remember his full name and title. Here, let me see if I can find it. Anyway, he was, if not the inventor of the mRNA vaccine prototypes, he at least, his names are on the patents. Let's put it that way. His names are included on the patents. So we know whether he invented it or not, his names are included on the patents. And he did a 3-hour interview with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan podcast. And that was up on YouTube. And they yeeted that too. Because he has questions about public policy regarding how we administer the vaccine, who must take it, who must not take it, whether or not people have autonomy, whether or not children should have it. He has all sorts of questions that do not necessarily comport with what the FDA or Dr. Fauci or whatever. He has some different opinions. And so because even though he's very integral in coming up with this product, and has other ideas about how this product is being and should be being used that do not match with the powers that be, they have to hide him. Just like they hid the doctors who were interested in that stuff that they used for, I got to be careful. I got to be careful with the words I use. Other products that have been on the market for years, they had to, some doctors were using some of those products as therapeutics, as prophylactics, as treatment for the stupid 19. And their videos got taken down. And then there was the other product that people mistakenly claimed that humans were taking horse paste. And a lot of those videos and information is taken down because the powers that be say that they don't want you to see it. Even though there are plenty of doctors. That's actually how long do you have to play the game before you realize you're being played? Good point, Thanos. That's a good point. And it's funny because what I'm doing right now, I'm playing the game just to stay up on this particular platform. And it's unfortunate that I have to do that. It's cold. I thought it was bloody cold. 3C or 37 Fahrenheit. Huh. So 37 Fahrenheit. That's balmy compared to where I'm at. Oh, absolutely, Thanos. Oh, good point. And by the way, welcome to the show. Who says this isn't about COVID-19? It's about leaders being and remaining in control. You're absolutely correct. And so anyway, so they've yeeted. So Joe Rogan now has opened a Getter account. So apparently Getter got a pretty good wave over the weekend. Now what's interesting too, like I said, the Truth Social Inc. or whatever that Trump was starting. Apparently Trump was having some talks with Jason Green. No, not Jason Green. I'm sorry, not Jason Green. Jason Miller. And apparently those talks kind of fell apart. And so we'll see what happens with this Truth Social thing. But anyway, back to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's see here. So according to The Sun, Twitter has a 5-strike rule relating to COVID misinformation before permanently suspending an account. Greene was hit with multiple temporary suspensions in 2021 over controversial tweets that violated the platform's policy. But CEO of free speech social media site Getter and former Trump advisor Jason Miller exclusively told The Sun, deplatforming the president was just the beginning for big tech and their war on free speech. Now they're coming for anyone who doesn't conform to their particular worldview. Greene's other Twitter account for her work as congressman representing Georgia's 14th district, Representative MTG, remains active at this time. And that's all I got to say about that. I never put that up on the screen again. But anyway. All right. I don't know if I talked about this one over the weekend. You're going to need vaccine papers in order to vote. I doubt it. I don't think you're going to have to do that. But if they try to manipulate the rules. Now remember, because here's the problem. The reason that's not going to happen is because there's too many people in my demographic who will not have vaccine papers, who are not getting the Fauci juice, right? So that absolutely would be going. They laugh about Jim Crow kind of policies. That would be a Jim Crow policy. That ain't gonna happen. They're gonna have to make it a way for you to vote. But they certainly are playing up the current infections, at least cases. They have to walk a fine line here, though. If they talk too much about the cases, and you don't get enough people that are actually deathly ill from it, because the hospitalizations and deaths are down, even though cases are up significantly. hospitalizations and death are down because, they're getting more positives, and the Omicron variant apparently is not as lethal or even as debilitating as the other variants. And so people aren't going to the hospital for it. People aren't dying from it. And as I said, as soon as I started hearing about it, and as soon as I started hearing about the scientists and doctors in South Africa who said it was not as, not as debilitating, not as severe as the other ones, I said, you know what? This is the time. This is the time to let that shit run wild. Let it run wild. Let everyone get it. And you develop the antibodies and the T cell and B cell memory and all that shit. And then everyone gets their own form of acquired immunity, right? Well, apparently in some places that is what's happening. So let's move on. I also this morning I found that Ashley Babbitt was trending. Ashley Babbitt was trending on Twitter. Now I'm going to be going back and forth on some things because I got another couple of articles on Fauci, and there's one from Reuters on the Omicron variant that I got from the server, the Discord server this morning. But let's go to Ashley Babbitt because this was trending on Twitter this morning. Now, ex-President Donald Trump and his supporters have sought to portray Ashley Babbitt as a righteous martyr, but the life of the Air Force veteran from California was more complicated than the heroic portrait presented by Trump and his allies. Now, wait a minute. This is fascinating because I haven't really heard. I mean, all I've heard is that most people are upset that an unarmed woman who, yes, was in the wrong place, somewhere where she was supposed to be, who at the time she was ended by lead from a guy with a badge. That guy with a badge, there was nobody in mortal danger from this woman climbing through a window. Okay? Now, should she have been climbing through that window? Nope. Is there probably some kind of justification for an officer throwing lead into a person who is going into a restricted area? Yep. Should she have been doing it? Nope. However, should she have been shot? I don't think so. She was not a deadly threat. Although there might be a protocol where it says if you come into this restricted area, you will be shot. Doesn't matter if you're a threat or not. I can understand that in some sense. In the chaos of the moment. But I'm not, I don't endorse the action. Let's put it that way. But now some people, now it's fascinating though, the word that they use here was more complicated than the heroic portrait presented by Trump and his allies. Now, I don't know anyone saying that Ashley Babbitt was heroic. I'm just saying she shouldn't have been shot. But the AP, which has become another propaganda arm for the Democratic Party, decided to put this article up in there as one of their stories today. Because they're going to trash Ashley Babbitt in this story. The first time Celeste Norris laid out on Ashley Babbitt, the future insurrectionist. Again, insurrectionist. Love using that damn word. And boy, are we going to hear that a lot starting on, what's 3 days from now? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4th, 5th, 6th. Starting Thursday. Oh my God. And maybe starting tomorrow. Maybe this whole week. They're going to be talking about this whole week and all of the weekend. It's going to be on all the Sunday morning shows talking about the insurrection from a year ago. The insurrection that was a riot, that was not a good thing. Nobody should be celebrating it, but nobody should be calling it a fucking insurrection. The first time Celeste Norris laid eyes on Ashley Babbitt, the future insurrectionist had just rammed her vehicle 3 times with an SUV and was pounding on the window, challenging her to a fight. again, did anyone say? Anyway, Norris says the bad blood between them began in 2015 when Babbitt engaged in the months-long extramarital affair with Norris's longtime live-in boyfriend. When she learned of the relationship, Norris called Babbitt's husband and told him she was cheating. She pulls up yelling and screaming, "Chick fight." That's not what it. Norris said in an exclusive interview, she pulls up yelling and screaming. Norris said in an exclusive interview with the Associated Press. Boy, they're just digging into this woman's life, aren't they? This is so important. I'm glad they did this. They need to figure it out. Anyway, recounting the July 29, 2016 road rage incident in Prince Frederick, Maryland. It took me a good 30 seconds to figure out who she was. Just all sorts of expletives, telling me to get out of the car, that she was going to beat my ass. Terrified and confused, Norris dialed 911 and waited for law enforcement. Babbitt was later charged with numerous misdemeanors. The attack on Norris is an example of an erratic and sometimes threatening behavior by Babbitt, who was shot by a police officer while at the vanguard of the January 6th riot. Oh, they call it a riot instead of insurrection this time. How is this relevant? I'm trying to figure it out. At the U.S. Capitol, former President Donald Trump and his supporters have sought to portray her as a righteous martyr who was unjustly killed. Is that what they called her? Okay, Trump has called her an incredible person and even taped a posthumous birthday greeting to her in October. Trump has also demanded the Justice Department reinvestigate Babbitt's death, though the officer who shot her was cleared of any wrongdoing by 2 prior federal investigations. But the life of the Air Force veteran from California who died while wearing a Trump campaign flag wrapped around her shoulders like a cape is far more complicated than the heroic portrait presented by Trump and his allies. See, they do this with look. I don't like when they do this with black people and they're killed by police. Because an unjustified killing is an unjustified killing. It doesn't matter what's going on in the person's past. So, for example, let me give you what's a good example here. Well, let's take George Floyd. Okay. The stuff in his past, even though he had and he was not a good person whatsoever. Not a good person whatsoever. But it really wasn't relative to what happened the day he died, right? Doesn't have anything to do with it. What happened that day was relevant. And if there's anything about his past that had anything to do with that day, there really wasn't anything in that case. Okay. So what he did that day, passing a fake $20 bill, resisting arrest, all that was relevant to what happened in that case. Just like in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Okay. The fact that Kyle Rittenhouse got in a fight with one of his sisters, someone who was fighting his sister, right? Wasn't relevant to the case. Okay. Or even the fact that the people who were shot by Kyle Rittenhouse, who were shitbags in their personal lives, that didn't have anything to do with the case either. Okay. And people who hate Kyle Rittenhouse are quick to tell you that those guys, one being a child rapist who nobody's going to miss, that wasn't relative because Kyle Rittenhouse didn't know that. Well, also Kyle Rittenhouse having any tiny form of trouble, or even him making a quip about saying he wished he had his AR-15 when he saw looters, that wasn't relevant to the case either. But it's funny how they pick and choose which things from your past are relevant to them. So for them, oh, he was a woman beater. Or the guys he killed, their past doesn't matter at all. Well, in this case, I don't think any of this matters is relevant to what Ashley Babbitt did on January 6th. Just saying. Real quick, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show. And via Streamlabs, that makes you...
You are the new Streamlabs
Superstar sponsor of the day. First Streamlabs sponsor today. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, who says, I can't travel outside the country without getting to what? Okay, I was trying to read this and I read it and I'm like, I started laughing and I couldn't read it. I'm going to try to read this with a straight face. Okay, here we go. From Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who says, and by the way, good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
I can't travel outside the country without getting to Shanghai anal probe. I think that's what that says.
That's right.
How long before they put you on the no-fly list for domestic travel?
That's right.
Oh, wait. What did Lord Fauci... What did Lord Fauci said he... Wait. What didn't Lord Fauci say he's okay with the idea because it's science? Okay,
That's right.
I understood that even though I read it verbatim because you had a typo in there. But you're right. Yeah, I tell you what. I flew... What was the last time I flew? I flew to Denver in the first weekend in November, and I could still fly without having the Fauci juice papers, right? Because I'm not. Well, I haven't taken the Fauci juice yet. I'm not supposed to tell anybody that, but I haven't taken the Fauci juice yet. But I am one of 150 million people in the United States of America who's had the stupid 19 and survived. So I have some protection from the variants. In fact, maybe some people say I have better protection from the variants. Or if I get it again, I have acquired immunity. Also known as natural immunity. And so, but I would, if they put that stupid shit about the Fauci juice in the to make it so you can't fly, I'm gonna have to drive when I travel. Now, what's fascinating about that is, so if they say you're gonna have to have Fauci juice to travel via airplane, right? If I have to get Fauci juice to travel, I'm probably not gonna fly anywhere. I'm not really. So like when I go to Omaha, I don't fly there anyway. I drive. It's a 6-hour drive, not that bad. But if I have to go to anywhere else and I can't fly, I'm going to be fucked. I don't think they're going to do it because what's going to happen. Because already it's kind of happened in New York. Oh, by the way, the new what's his name, New York mayor, de Blasio's gone. No more de Blasio in New York City, right? But apparently the new mayor. Did I have an article about that? I thought I had an article. So the new mayor gets sworn in like minutes after midnight because they couldn't wait to get rid of de Blasio. And, excuse me. And he immediately gives 2 executive orders. One was that the things that are happening that de Blasio put in place when he was mayor, he was going to continue them. So they're still going to have the Fauci juice papers required to go into restaurants and certain gyms and whatever bars and whatnot. And I don't think the New Yorkers are happy about that. They're just not. By the way, Trideos, how you doing? Scotty Dubs, see you in the house. Welcome to the show. So they're not. People in New York are not happy about the new mayor either because he hasn't said, F this noise. And honestly, those places that are doing that aren't doing any better than, say, Florida, where AOC is vacationing. Oh, by the way, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, again. I appreciate you sponsoring the show. So anyway, let's see. Let me find what I was doing here. The other thing, is she still trending? She's not. Ashley Babbitt is, but let me go in the trends here real quick. And then I'm going to go into the articles I wanted to talk about. Because I wanted to talk about the New York mayor. Oh, back to this article from the AP. So anyway, they have this whole AP article basically trashing her. Now, here's some interesting things in this article that I thought were interesting, because they're really they're building up till the 6th of January when they're having their, circle jerk about, how bad the insurrection was. I should bring back my echo thing. So anyway, this is in the AP article. Trump called her an incredible person, blah, blah, blah. In the months before her death, Babbitt has become consumed by pro-Trump conspiracy theories and posted angry screeds on social media. She also had a history of making violent threats. She wasn't in the air. Well, she's in the air. I don't know. Babbitt, 35, was fatally shot while attempting to climb through a broken window of a barricaded door leading to the speaker's lobby inside the Capitol, where police officers were evacuating members of Congress from the mob supporting Donald Trump's false claim that the 2020 presidential election was stolen. She was one of 5 people who died during. Now, this is hilarious now, because now they're saying she's one of 5 people who died during or immediately after the riot, including a Capitol police officer. That is called stretching the truth quite a bit, because they're talking about Officer Brian Sicknick, right? Well, and in fact, they even link an article stating medical examiner finds USCP Officer Brian Sicknick died of natural causes. And it wasn't immediately after the riot. It was like, was it 48 hours later? He died of stroke. And this is from the United States Capitol Police. This is a press release. The United States Capitol Police accepts the findings from the District of Columbia's Office of the Chief Medical Examiner that Officer Brian Sicknick died of natural causes. This does not change the fact that Officer Sicknick died in the line of duty, courageously defending Congress and the Capitol. No, he didn't. It was after he courageously defended Congress and the Capitol. Not in the line of duty. He had a stroke. The department continues to mourn the loss of our beloved colleague. Good. They should. I have nothing against Brian Sicknick other than I don't have any reason to have anything against him. He was doing his job. I don't care. But the idea of making him, there's no evidence he was the victim of the violence. He died of a stroke. Probably something that he was close. It was going to happen probably anyway. It's not like, I suppose there could be a stress-induced stroke, but there had to be something there in the first place. It's a stressful job. But I don't, fine, mourn his death, but damn. Don't pretend he was one of 5 people who died during or immediately after the riot, including a Capitol police officer. Well, I bet there were a lot of people who died during or after the riot. Like a whole bunch, like probably 100,000 people probably died during or immediately after the riot. Just not at the riot and not because of the riot. I'm sure. So anyway, on social media, Babbitt identified as a libertarian and ardent supporter of the Second Amendment. Her post included videos of profane rants against Democrats, stupid 19 mask mandates, and illegal immigration. Okay, and her Twitter account, which was taken down by her after her death, was rife with references to QAnon conspiracy theories. which centers on the baseless belief that Trump has secretly battled deep state enemies and a cabal of Satan-worshipping cannibals that included the prominent Democrats who operated child sex trafficking ring. What? Satan-worship cannibals? What? Maybe I missed that part. I don't pay attention to Q stuff anyway. Hello, Retro and Veteran Gamer, by the way. Let's see. Nothing will stop us. Okay. Anyway, so this is basically, oh my God, look how long this article. I'm not reading all this shit. It's basically a long article trashing her to justify her being shot by a police officer in a situation where he probably should not have been shot. She was not a clear and present danger to the officer or anyone around them. Unreal. Hello, Galactic North. How you doing? And Retro Veteran Gamer. Nice to see you guys. By the way, 35. A whole bunch of people in the room. Hit the like button before you go, or if you pop in and out, hit the like button at some point during the show. Share the stream before, during, after the show, and you can sponsor the show at this place right here, or you can do it that place down there, and or the place that's farther down there. There's all kinds of places you can support the stream. But hit the like button now before you forget, because anyway. All right. All right. What are we gonna do here? Let's see. Let's go back to some things regarding the Fauci, because a couple things in the Discord server that caught my eye, and obviously caught Gunfox's eye because he put them in there, regarding Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci. There we go. Now this is interesting because there was these two articles that we saw. One from, and they may have kind of the same stuff in them, but here we go. So Fauci apparently has said that testing negative to end stupid 19 isolation is now being considered. They're changing some of the guidelines. Current CDC guidelines do not require negative tests to end isolation. Well, that's true, because I did not have to take a second test when I left my personal quarantine when I had the stupid 19. Now, but again, when I did it, this was a year ago, and you still had 2 weeks from the time you first have symptoms if your test was within a few days. And so when I first had symptoms, my test was 2 days later, and so they included the 2 days in my 2-week quarantine. Now, I don't know if that was strictly just a Minnesota thing or if that was CDC guidelines at the time, but that's how it worked. And because my wife lived with me, her job made her quarantine for 2 weeks and test before she could go back to work. So I tested positive. I was in quarantine for another 12 days. And when I tested positive, she had to take those same 2 weeks off, and she had to be tested, and she tested negative. Well, now apparently testing negative to end COVID isolation is now under consideration amid pushback from some public health officials on new Center for Disease Control guidelines for individuals who have tested positive for stupid 19, which does not require a negative test to end isolation after 5 days. Because now they changed it. Oh, because the CDC guidelines were 10 days. You could end isolation. So now, see, some of the companies are kind of pissed because they're like, you're killing us, dude. You're killing us with this shit. And especially with all these people getting stupid 19 Omicron variant. They're like, everyone's getting this, like we said they were going to. But now, having people out for 2 weeks, having all these people out, our businesses are suffering. And so the CDC kind of capitulated and said, okay, we'll do this. We're going to say that you can stop isolation after 5 days instead of 10 because the Omicron variant, isn't as dangerous or whatever. And so they decided they're going to change the guidelines, right? Well, now some people are like, whoa, you can't do that. Everyone's going to die. And so now they're considering having a testing requirement after 5 days to end your so-called isolation or self-quarantine. So, on that note, amid pushback from some public health officials on new Center for Disease Control guidelines for individuals who've tested positive for stupid 19, which does not require a negative test and isolation after 5 days, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease specialist, X'd out. I don't have my X'd out. I can't do my X'd out. But anyway, said changes to the guidelines are being considered. You're right. There has been some concern about why we don't ask people at the 5-day period to get tested. That is something that is now under consideration. The CDC is very well aware that there has been some pushback about that, Fauci told News This Week anchor George Stephanopoulos. He continued, looking at it again, there may be an option in that testing could be a part of that. And I think we're going to be hearing more about that in the next day or so from the CDC. The CDC issued new guidelines for those who test positive on Tuesday, recommending a 5-day isolation period if asymptomatic at that point, followed by 5 days of masking when around other people. Oh, so you only have to mask when you're around other people after having it? Fantastic. And that's asymptomatic people. The CDC has said in a statement, the change is motivated by science, demonstrating that the majority of SARS-CoV-2 transmission occurs early in the course of the illness, generally in the 1-2 days prior to onset symptoms and 2 to 3 days thereafter. Therefore, people who tested positive should isolate for 5 days, and if asymptomatic at that time, they may leave isolation if they can continue to mask for 5 days to minimize the risk of infecting others. Some prominent public health officials, including former U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams, criticized the new guidelines. Fuck him. But that's Trump's former Surgeon General too. Anyway, the nation's largest nurses union and a major flight attendant union also expressed dissatisfaction with the new guidelines. So they don't believe in science. She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science. Regardless of what the CDC says, you really ought to try to obtain an antigen test. I know, easier said than done, to confirm it's negative prior to leaving isolation and quarantine. There's not a scientist or doctor I've met yet who wouldn't do this for themselves or their family, Adams tweeted. Who that Adams? That's Jerome Adams. The revised guidelines come as the number of stupid 19 cases in the U.S. reaches record levels. The CDC recorded more than 580,000 cases in the U.S. on Thursday, a pandemic record. Hey, a new record! That number shattered Wednesday's record of about 488,000. However, Fauci said Sunday the time has come to focus less on case counts as infections become less severe. Instead, he said it's much more relevant to focus on the hospitalizations. Well, we talked about that over the weekend. That's amazing. What an amazing conclusion he comes up with finally, which it should have always been that way. Anyway, because remember, even before the first vaccine was rolled out, I was one of the 60 million survivors of the stupid 19 that they seem to me, they make it sound like it's a complete death threat to you. It's just not. Hello, Jedi Ghost Bear. Morning to you too. Anyway, though he said hospitalizations are often a late lagging indicator. Even with the rising case numbers, Fauci said he believes it is the correct decision to return children to in-person schooling after the holiday break. It's very clear there are really serious effects about children not having a physical presence, and because most teachers are vaccinated and children 5 and up are eligible for COVID vaccinations, I plead with parents to please seriously consider vaccinating your children, wearing masks in the school settings, doing tests to stay. I think all those things put together, it's safe enough to get the kids back to school, balanced against the deleterious effects of keeping them out. Look, motherfucker. 0.0124% of children have died from this. Just over 5. I think it's close to 500 ages 0 to 17. Roughly 1,000 kids a year drown. Are we going to ban water for children? Again, look, and here's my analogy. I've used this often. I've used this comparison often. Are your children vaccinated for shingles? Are they vaccinated for shingles? I wonder. I'm curious, and I should probably look this up. I've never looked this up when I've made that comparison. Can children get shingles? Can children get shingles? Shingles in children is not common. A child is more at risk for shingles if either of these are true. He or she had chickenpox before age 1. The child's mother had chickenpox very late in pregnancy. Children who get chickenpox vaccine still may have a small risk for shingles, but it may be a lower risk than after chickenpox infection. Okay, maybe we should start vaccinating kids for shingles, because it is possible for children to get shingles, even though you're not likely to get shingles before you're 50. But they can get shingles. So let's start vaccinating all children for shingles now. That's the comparison I would make when it comes to this. Capiche? Capiche? Good morning, Mass Creation Broadcast. How you doing? Yes, called chickenpox. Well, no. Chickenpox and shingles are technically two different things. Chickenpox is a variant of the shingles virus. Yes. No, well, shingles is a variant of the chickenpox virus, or one or the other, right? But here's the thing. So adults, the possibility of getting shingles as an adult is because you had chickenpox as a child. But it's very rare for children to get shingles, right? Extremely rare. Just like it's extremely rare for children to have serious effects of the stupid 19, which I probably shouldn't be saying out loud because this is YouTube. But shingles usually is someone who's had chickenpox when they were a kid. So after 50, you should probably start worrying of maybe getting a shingles vaccine, right? Well, but nobody's saying, oh, we should vaccinate all children for shingles, because you're generally not going to get it as a child. So anyway, it's just one of those things. And so that's why the way I feel about the Fauci juice. Okay. The children's, the risk in children is minute, although it happens. Unfortunately, at least 500 kids who have perished from this disease out of the roughly 7 million cases. And again, almost, I think was it Walensky from the Center for Disease Control was asked, how many of those kids did not have coexisting conditions, comorbidities? And she couldn't answer because there were none. I mean, all the kids who were dying at that age from this had some serious comorbidities, because it does, from 0 to 17, it's not really affecting kids that much. But kids having heart problems, as in dying from their heart stopping from the jab, is higher than them dying from the stupid 19 virus. That is yes, Gunfox. That is likely, and we see that from the VAERS data. But they're not telling you that. They don't want you to know that. By the way, good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Legit Low Talker. I saw you in the chat a little bit earlier. By the way, read it, not say it. No, it's okay. I'll be all right. I'm fairly careful with the actual words I use, I think. Anyway, Fauci still expressed hope that what he described as a severe surge will peak within a few weeks. He's talking about cases again. So anyway, there's another article though here, and this is the same thing. CDC mulling COVID test requirement for the asymptomatic. Same article, kind of, but is this the same Associated Press article? Let's see, ABC News. Oh no, this is a different article written by the Associated Press, but basically saying the same thing. That they're looking at having tests for asymptomatic people towards the end of that 5-day period, isolation period, versus the 10-day when they don't ask you to take a test. And so some people are pushing back on that. So there's 2 articles on that here. All right. And then Reuters this morning puts up this article that the Omicron infections appear no less severe than Delta. Omicron, what? Hold on. But stupid 19 lower sperm count and motility. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. The following is a summary of recent studies of Stupid 19. This is from December 20th. They include research that warrants further study to corroborate the findings and that is yet to be certified by peer review. So why are they bringing this up? Because they're trying to scare you some more. Infection caused by Omicron variant of the Stupid 19 do not appear to be less severe than infections from Delta. Okay, this is from the December 20th. That has been proven false now. It is absolutely false. But they found an article that tell you that it's not back in December. I'm surprised they're allowed to keep that misinformation up. Even Dr. Fauci says the symptoms seem less severe. That was in December, and the hype over Omicron variant was at its height. So anyway, that's stupid. All right. This is another. Now, as I told you, as I said earlier, we're going to start seeing a whole lot about the old January 6th Capitol riot over the next few days. And here's one from today, this morning. Newsweek has published probably the precursor to what you're going to get tired of hearing about over the next week, probably all the way into Sunday, because they really, really want you to talk about the insurrection. Here's one from Newsweek. The Capitol riot. They're having a commemorative. Now, it's interesting because this was just kind of the rally part. There was, whatever. This is long after people breached the White House, and these people were in this area here. And I don't even know if this was when people were still fighting. But anyway, apparently there were secret commandos with shoot to kill authority. I'll make it so you can see it better. With shoot to kill authority were at the Capitol. In this daily series, I told you you're going to hear about all week, Newsweek explores the steps that led to the January 6th Capitol riot. On Sunday, January 3rd, the heads of half a dozen elite government special operations team met in Quantico, Virginia, to go over potential threats, contingencies, and plans for the upcoming joint session of Congress. The meeting and the subsequent deployment of these shadowy commandos on January 6th has never before been revealed. Right after the new year, Jeffrey A. Rosen, the acting attorney general, on January 6th approved implementation of long-standing contingency plans dealing with the most extreme possibilities: an attack on President Donald Trump or Vice President Mike Pence, a terrorist attack involving a weapon of mass destruction, a declaration of measures to implement continuity of government, requiring protection and movement of presidential successors. Now, the way this is starting makes it almost sound like, they were worried about this attack on the Capitol, right? anytime the President of the United States, regardless of what party or what, what year, by the way, thank you, Housefer 43 for subscribing. No matter what, if the president decides to do an open air event, I'm pretty sure this is pretty standard protocol. The president was doing a rally outside on January 6th. They probably had this. There's always contingency plans when the president does outside. I'm pretty sure no matter what it is. Anyway, Jeffrey Rosen, the acting attorney general, made a unilateral decision to take preparatory steps to deploy Justice Department and so-called, quote, national, end quote, forces. There was no formal request from U.S. Capitol Police, the Secret Service, or the Metro Police Department. In fact, no external request from any agency. The leadership in Justice and the FBI anticipated the worst and decided to act independently, the Special Operations Forces lurking behind the scenes. Now, the other part of this, too, remember, this is the day that the Congress was going to certify the votes or whatever they do on January 6th. Big rally outside of the, out there with the President of the United States out there. And I'm pretty sure they were anticipating, because I know why the president had requested National Guard support. Because anytime there has been anything regarded to Trump that is a rally that's outdoors, what always happens? At least what in the past, what has always happened? Counter-protesters, and often very violent counter-protesters, messing with Trump people, right? So that I'm pretty sure when Trump said, hey, we were hoping to have some National Guard support around the Capitol that day because, there was going to have a rally down the road and they were about to walk up and then rally at the Capitol building, right? Probably the reason Donald Trump thought, hey, we need some National Guard support. That was denied by, I believe, both Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell at the time, that they didn't want that. And the what's her name, Bowser from the mayor's office declined that help, is maybe because they were hoping there would be counter-protesters beating up Trump supporters. Maybe, or just maybe not. They just didn't want it, right? And the way it turned out, of course, all those people who would normally have been counter-protesting just magically, and we're talking Lucky Charms magically, deliciously, didn't show up. Go figure. Now, I'm wondering if Jeffrey Rosen, when he was thinking about this, having these people out there to protect people. Yeah, they were hoping, it could have turned into a massive fight. So I'm pretty sure that he was thinking from that angle more than what could happen at the Capitol. I didn't think he was anticipating people breaching the Capitol during a riot that was egged on by certain shadowy figures who seemingly aren't being charged with anything. There's a couple, we know their names, in fact. Well, one in particular that seemed to be really trying to get people up there to go inside the building. But anyway, so, quote, I believe that the Department of Justice reasonably prepared for contingencies ahead of January 6th, understanding that there was considerable uncertainty as to how many people would arrive, who those people would be, and precisely what purpose they would pursue, Rosen later told Congress. He stressed that his department no frontline role with respect to crowd control, that they were focused on high-risk operations. Because, there's some crazies out there. Remember, this is the President of the United States. In an outdoor rally, you wonder if there might be people who want to end that president that was already there that just lost the election. You never know. And their big old fight with the Antifa people and shit like that could have happened, because that often happened. Anyway, The contingency units meeting on January 3rd, including the FBI's hostage rescue team, the FBI's National Render Safe team, the FBI SWAT team from Baltimore field office, special response teams from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, my favorite agency, and the U.S. Marshal Service Special Operations Group. All of these assets were deployed and ready to go over the weekend of January 2nd to 3rd, staging out of the FBI Academy complex in Quantico, 30 miles south of the Capitol building. If a WMD or terrorist attack occurred, the units were to move via helicopter to the site of the incident. The activation of the catastrophic response units operating under plans already approved by President Trump entailed an automatic green light allowing federal responders to take the initiative and spare no resources, including shoot-to-kill authority, to deal with the most extraordinary condition. Interesting. The 350-strong hostage rescue team was established in 1983 to be on a national level counter-terrorist unit, offering a tactical option, a military option, for the most extraordinary law enforcement situations within the United States. Prior to 9/11, HRT was primarily a domestic counterterrorism unit. After the attack, the team took on additional missions, including working with the Joint Special Operations Command overseas in high-profile raids and targeting of high-value targets. The FBI is the lead agency for what insiders call the no-fail 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-per-year response capability. In 1999, the Bureau was assigned the responsibility for the Render Safe mission, a euphemism for extraordinarily and highly classified actions that are slated to take place in cases of lost, stolen, or hidden nuclear or radiological weapons. The FBI had already been given a primary responsibility for domestic... Okay, this is just going on about the unit. But the fact that... here's where the point of this is. The morning of January 6th, most of these forces staged closer to downtown Washington, particularly after intelligence was received indicating a possible threat to FBI headquarters building or the FBI Washington field office. So that's why they were there. They were worried about those particular facilities. FBI tactical teams arrived at Capitol Hill early in the day to assist in the collection of evidence at sites, including a Republican and Democratic Party national headquarters where explosive devices were found. FBI SWAT teams and snipers were deployed to secure nearby congressional office buildings. Other FBI agents provided selective security around the U.S. Capitol and protection to congressional members and staff. Now, where were these people when this insurrection was going on? Where were they? Apparently, the insurrection never seemed to get so bad that these people were needed, it seemed like. But I don't know. I guess the tactical team of the hostage rescue team was one of the first external federal agencies to actually enter the Capitol. Oh, they did! After protesters breached the building. Which, it's not the first time those buildings have been breached now, is it? Just saying. In addition to augmentation of emergency security assets, one team coordinated with the U.S. Capitol Police and Secret Service to provide additional safeguarding of Vice President Mike Pence, who had been moved to the underground parking structure beneath the Capitol from where he was supposed to evacuate, but Pence refused to leave the building and stayed underground instead. The presence of these extraordinary forces under control of the Attorney General and mostly operating under contingency plans that Congress and the United States Capitol Police were not privy to added an additional layer of highly armed responders. The role that the military played in this highly classified operation is still unknown, though FBI sources tell Newsweek that military operators seconded to the FBI and those on alert as part of the National Mission Force were present in the metropolitan area. The lingering question is, quote, what was it that the Justice Department saw that provoked it to see January 6th as an extraordinary event, something that other agencies eventually missed? And then they put this weird timeline here. Look at how they make this timeline. Stop the steal was Donald Trump fans' war cry even before the election. Fox News called Arizona. Okay, this is just a timeline of everything leading up to January 6th. We're going to hear about this ad nauseum about a riot. But are we going to hear about the one guy? Anyone going to talk about the one guy? You know that guy. You know who that guy is? Ray Epps. Who's going to talk about Ray Epps this week? My guess is that's a name that you're only going to hear on very specific types of media. In fact, let's do this. I'm going to finish today with, I'm going to leave that be the last article today. And by the way, as you know, if you're here, been here, if you haven't been here, if you're new, all the articles and things I click on will be in the description down below. If you want to read these articles again, you want to see them again, there's a single link in the second paragraph of the description down below where I add, during the outro, I will add all those articles into a single link. That'll be, then you click the link, it'll be the list of every article we looked at. So you will be able to find everything we did here. But let's look, what's his name? I just said his name, something Epps. Ray Epps. FBI. What is a Ray Epps? Ray Epps. I'm going to do it on DuckDuckGo first. Okay. Here's DuckDuckGo. Okay. First article, The Sun. Who is Ray Epps? The World Tribune. Ray Epps and why has the FBI protected him? Meet Ray Epps, the federal protected provocateur who appears, blah, blah, blah. Revolver News. So okay, now, DuckDuckGo. All kinds of stuff about Ray Epps. Let's do the same search in Google. I want to see this. Let's go google.com. All right, here we go. Here's Google. Ray Epps. Oh, he showed up in the Daily Mail, but the second one. Notice on this one, do you see anything about a former NBA basketball player, Ray Epps, in the top several searches? You go to Google, now you got one from the Daily Mail. What's the date on this? I'm not sure what date it is. But then it goes to Ray Epps, NBA player. Oh, there's a couple Russian bots here today. Let's get rid of these. Thank you for knocking them out, whoever did that. I'm going to take care of this too. We'll report them real quick. I do not want the spam bots in here. Hilarious. The second, now the NBA player Ray Epps played I think he played 1 year in the NBA, 1978, and he comes up second on the Google search for the name Ray Epps. You look at DuckDuckGo, look at all these articles on Ray Epps, the shadowy figure, right? The guy who more results, all about the guys, the January riot guy, right? Google, you do the same search. You got Ray Epps, the basketball player. You got Ray Epps, the basketball player. Find a lawyer, Ray Epps. Now, here's someone, Will Kane, Real Clear Politics. Tampa Bay, no evidence FBI incited January riot despite, of course, that's the establishment line. Raymond Epps, Tempe, Arizona, LinkedIn. Ray Epps, teacher. So, Ray Epps, Arizona football, University of Arizona State Athletics. Come on. You know all the people talking about Ray Epps right now, relevant articles are not about the Ray Epps who played in the NBA, are not about some Ray Epps at Arizona State football. Come on, Google. Good morning, Advocatus Diablo, by the way. So anyway, look up Ray Epps if you don't know about Ray Epps, but don't do it on Google because you'll be talking about some guy who played in the NBA in 1978. Sorry, that's not who we're asking about. And you know it, Google. You suck, Google. And I'm on a Google platform. Good Lord. Anyway. All right. I have to call it a day today. I might stream this afternoon, though. I don't know for sure, but definitely I'll be back tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, Thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. There were 34 people in here. There's only 23 likes. What the hell is going on? Anyway, hit the like button. Share the stream before, during, after the stream. If you're watching a replay, put a comment in the comment section so I know that you were here. And if you want to sponsor the show, you know how to do it. PDawgKnight.live or SuperChats or the other options down in the description below. But that's it for today, people. I got to go. I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy 2022. I almost said 21. Happy 2021. Those of you who've been writing 2020 on your check still, if you still write checks or on whatever else you write things on, you can write 2021 now because you'll still only be a year behind at 2122 or 2022, whatever. Anyway, thanks y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.